So, to get back to this, I'm going to make this full screen. To get back to what we were talking about earlier on, trying to get the project settings for the project so that we can get the parse and type check results from a certain line within this project to kind of prove the principle of using the compiler services to get some type information back. Then we're going to start building a bot to automate this so that while I'm streaming, people can ask the bot things about the code on my screen, and the bot will go, yeah, that's line 31, that's just the F# interactive checker. So you can kind of get tooltips remotely via the chatbot, if that makes sense. And probably think of some other features along the way, but I thought that would be a kind of a cool project involving streaming helpers for streamers for F#. But at the moment it's called Project C, so if anyone can think of a decent name for the project, then I can stop calling it Project C. Hi to everyone in chat. Hi Real Victor PRM. I'll see if I can remember to do the plugins for Myriad when I get a chance. I can't quite remember offhand, so sorry about that. So, Chris kindly contacted me earlier on about an updated version of this guy, this .NET thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that into my lib folder, because Chris sent me another version. So I'm going to create a new folder called lib. Ib. Actually, we'll call it not ib. Right. And I've got the files over here. So I'm just downloading them on another Windows, and I'll copy those in 2 seconds. Just grab these out of my downloads folder. So Chris gave me 4 files. They were project system, .NET Project for Workspace, .NET Project for, and .NET Project for Workspace. Have I got those twice? Oh, Workspace FCS, sorry. So I've grabbed all 4 of those. We'll shove those in the lib folder, like so. So that looks okay. So now we need to go into Packet and these 2 need to go into their own source. Can't quite remember the syntax. .NET Workspace Project for FCS. If you're on the stream, Chris, is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I think it is. So project for FCS and project system. basically what we're trying to do is invoke this programmatically. So this will run and it gets all the arguments that are passed to the compiler. So where we got to before was we were getting to an issue where where was it? Down here somewhere. I'm not sure if it's still on screen. Where the type checks results were aborted anyway because the project info file that we'd passed it, or rather the project info settings that we'd passed it, were invalid or not sufficient for it to be able to parse them. Well, not actually to parse them, but to give it enough information to type check. I think we probably need to do packet install. Let me see what this is doing. So Chris has given me project info version 38. I've got workspace version 37. I think we need to do source./lib. So it can find these. We'll regenerate the load scripts again because we've added more to them. So you can see there we've got an extra 3 packages. So we've got this project system and then free version 38 of the project info. So what we'll do is we'll grab all these and we'll send them to interactive. So now we've got a different version of the project system and a .NET project info running. So I'll just check if there's anyone new in the chat room. That's a couple of people. Arnold, Giza, A10, Chris, and Real Victor PRM. Hi everyone. Hope you're doing good on this Sunday. Hopefully the stream's holding up a bit better. It looks like I'm not getting any drop packets or anything. I've actually had 6 missed frames due to slow rendering lag, but that's nothing. Looks like it's okay. Hopefully the mic's loud enough and it's not pointing at my keyboard. Can't run too much. I've made the webcam slightly bigger so you can see all my detail. And okay, I'm in a position where I try out these new libraries. So I'm not sure what to do with them yet. Well, explore and have a look. So project system. I'm just going to ask Chris how to use these. Right, so let's have a look to see if I can see where this is. You get contents, you've got project system DLL. I'm not sure what the namespace is. Okay, so Chris is saying open project system. I think I'm gonna have to reload my workspace because it's not picking this up. What haven't I done? I don't think. I think stop pressing the buttons. So if there's anyone in chat who can think of a more inventive name than Project C for this project, then let me know. I haven't had time to think of a decent name. Some sort of chatty bot for F# for streaming. So we need the main group, FSX. This is all our references. So, actually, yeah, that's what we haven't done. Packet references, we don't have the project info. And project system. Reload our window. This might work now. Project system. This looks good to go. I just forgot to add it to the packet, to the project. So packet was including it as a reference, but not including it in this project. So if we do that, controller, and this is going to be project controller, and this takes the F# checker. Have I missed something here? Checker. So use a controller, and how do we grab the project we want? Get project. Gives it a file name of a string and get the project option back. So Let's have a look to see if this works. Do a little bit more space. I'm going to extend it that way. That should be enough room. I'll rerun these load scripts again. Struggling with the key bindings. Enter doesn't always work. Right, so we've got our load scripts in. We'll open all our references. That's that done. We will create a checker. We'll set a line and column. Let's set our source file name. And we'll then create a controller and see if we can get a project info back. And we don't have any. Hi Chris. Load project first. You can hear rumbling in the background, it's my cat's playing. So I have to do a load project first. Stop pressing the wrong keys. So our project file name, on change, TTM for scripts. What does TFM for scripts do? I don't even know what TFM stands for. Type. Format. Chris says it's target framework. Something. Okay. So load project, we get our project file name. And then we've got these are proper arguments. And then an on-change target framework model, maybe. So for TFM, we can use FSI refs, TFM, netcore. Thanks, Chris. So FSI refs, it's much better with my tablet down here because I can look at the chat rather than creating a neck over there. So TFI refs, TFM, netcore. And that will return a project response. What I'll do, because we don't really care about performance, we're just trying out the API. We're just trying to hack something together and do async.run synchronously. So now we should have a project response. Oh, I missed something. Project loaded. So get rid of this to the side. String project. Project letter, we can't use ignore because it takes more than one argument. Why can't we do that? Expression was expected to have FSI refs TFM to unit, but has unit. Oh, 3 arguments, yeah, thanks Chris. Yeah, I could create an argument called ignore more. Let's do that just for fun. Ignore 3. Actually, let's just stick with what's working. Don't need to screw around with that, it's senseless anyway. So we've got a project response. Hi there, VD Gonsi. VD Gons? Hi anyway, however you say your name. So just to recap, we're building out more of Project C, which is a kind of an elaborate chatbot to query information on my screen via the Twitch bot. I haven't got very far because we're just starting out. We're just trying to prove some principles of using the compiler to get type check information from a single file. So now we've got a project response. Let us actually run some others through FSI. So we've got our controller. Can we get a project response back? It looks like it. And that looks like a lot of information. Yeah, so we've got the project file name, which is what we passed in, an array of project file names. Sorry, an array of project files, of which there's only one. And then we've got our out file opt, which is our list of references, it looks like, all the .NET Core ones. And then we've got a log map, extra information, project output type, and the SDK type. Got all the MS build project stuff there. A whole lot of information. So that gives us back so we give that a project file name. So now we've got a project system project. So Chris says the project response contains more info that's needed for I9 UI. To get the SHAP project options, use controller get project options file. Is that instead of get project? Cool. So we don't need this, but I'll leave this. we have a little note for future me. Says we should get our project info, and we're just gonna use option get because I know there's something there right now, and I'm gonna deal with errors later on. Don't care, I'm hacking at the moment. Doesn't matter. So we're actually going to change this just to return the project options. Project info. So that returns project info, which actually we'll call it project options because it should be called project options. And we'll update that. And now, if we invoke this, parameters very didn't like that. Argument exception, the option value was none. Was it? Sure it wasn't. Project controller, project response. Project options. Yeah, no, Chris option get crashed, which is fine if it didn't have any information, but it looked like it did. Let's do this. It is actually none. It wasn't 2 minutes ago. Which is curious. This gets us back our project response. And this gets us back our project options. Okay, so there are no project options, but there is a project info. If we rerun this line, so Chris says, can you check controller project options? I sure can. So that gets some response back. Yeah, so that is bringing back controller project options, brings back the project options. Is it because it's expecting just the project name, not the fully qualified one? So for example, if we just done this. No. Try using lowercase only. I mean, you would think it's keyed up top, I think. And it does say that is the project name. Still none. We'll try all fully qualified lowercase. Oops. Nope, still none. So it's curious it's not bringing one back. Works, which is strange. I don't know why it's not finding the key properly with the other method. But something for later. That gives us back our project options, which is an option. So actually we can just use find here. If it blows up, it blows up. It doesn't really matter at this point. And so find, that was return us one back. And sequence dot map second. What's wrong with that? Find return single element, you just need second. Ah yeah, sure, I thought it was still a sequence. If there's anything to make you lose your mind, streaming, everything just disappears out your brain. So we've got project options now. So if I run this, we get one back. So we can prove that by this line. Got one back there, and then get our pass results back. So we've got succeed here, so that looks like we've got one back. So running this back bit, and now get back internal error empty list parameter 1. But at least we're getting something back now. Which is progress. Empty list parameter 1, that is a funky error. Empty list parameter 1, so is that the empty list it's referring to? See, what we're trying to do is line 10, column 10. And I suppose it is invalid code now because we've moved on. Just say we use 17. Line 17, column 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 17, 10 should do. And then if we rerun this piece, get this back to 0. This line's awfully long. I'll just space it out so you can see easier on the stream. Still got internal error. Is that what the empty list parameter 1 is? Because the text on that line doesn't match up. So the compiler could give you back a better message than internal error empty list parameter 1. It's pretty awful. Well, so we'll give it this line. So line 17 is this one. Try to see if it's off by 1. So we're getting back a result, but it's a composition error. Internal error empty list. Empty list. Try using that part of the identifier. No. File name. What was that file name part? This is rather annoying. So we've made some progress, and then we can get check information out of the compiler for line 17. But the compiler says it's an internal error. Well, let's go for line 20. Still the same. Any ideas, anyone? Project options. So this should be coming back with a tip, like we see on the screen. So Chris is having a look to see how things work in F# autocomplete. It's one of them things where you have to figure out exactly what the compiler wants. I mean, what if we don't even bother passing the line at all? Will it give us a different error? Same error. Empty list. See what pass results does. Pass results is a unit. Okay, so pass results has given us back an error for a start. Must begin with a namespace declaration. I mean, I don't think it really matters. To be honest, the project options should be the same as the project and as this one compiles. I just need to bring up a terminal. Just to do build. So it builds fine, there's nothing wrong with the project as such. Oops. I'm just going to start up this again. So we create our checker, line 20, 10, create all these three, create our controller, get our project response, yes, get the project info back, and project options. That looks okay. And then we get back our pass and check results back. So they look like they come back okay. So check file answer. Succeeded. Right. Pass had errors. I don't know why it'd have errors when it's using the project check results of a project which compiles successfully. Pass error files, multiple apps must be given namespace declaration, namespace, blah blah blah. And because we're using a checker with the wrong type of setup. And it shouldn't make any difference because the checker has taken the details in terms of from the project name. Now, of course, current source file text would be all wrong. Let me run this again. No, still internal error. So what we'll do is I've got tons of files in here. So of course I haven't started a Git repository. God, Git ass. Right, I've added that to Git just so we've got some semblance of progress. I'll push this to the repository, and I'll also update my Twitch info so we've got Project C, and then I'll have a link to GitHub as well. And I'm just going to take a short break to get some more water, and hopefully the solution to this little issue will pop into my head while I'm getting a drink. I'll be back in a few minutes' time. I'll just switch over to the be right back screen, and I'll see you in a couple of minutes. So I'm back. Sorry about that. I had to tidy up after the cats, and I also made a cup of tea, which I've got right here. So, has anyone had any bright ideas? I was thinking maybe we could try something else where instead of doing get tooltip text, you could just try getting something else out of it. Get all uses of all symbols in the file, just to see what it's got in terms of its type check information. It is an option, that's why. Commented out and synchronously sum. So that will give us back either some array of F-sharp symbol uses or none. So if we run this, see what happens. Right, so we do get a whole bunch of stuff back. Dozens and dozens of symbols. And if we have a look, what were we were requesting line 20, column 10. Line 19 is the controller. Yep. Well, line 20 is now a space. Well, probably what's happened is it's got out of sync in that I've been typing extra lines in. Just making sure the stream hasn't stuttered and died. Looks okay. Looks like I'm getting about 4,000 kilobits a second bitrate at the moment. Hopefully the quality's okay for you guys. And the microphone's loud enough and stuff like that. So if we look at the checker or the controller, what do we want? About line 18, the checker. Line 19, column 10. Well, the checker is between 43 and 50. Oh, I'm looking at it again. Checker, line 19. Yeah, of course, I've called it controller, but it is. Yeah, so that's in as a symbol called checker on line 19. well, actually, you will use that. You will use column 44. Copy that line to use. And let's see what happens with that. No, it's still the same internal error. Empty list. If you're still in the stream, Chris, did you shed in any light on that error or anything? Any ideas? I don't know why the tooltip's not working for that. It must be something I've missed in the details here. I'm just looking at my chat window. So Chris has given me something to try out, which is to put extra options on the end of the project options. So I'll just copy this over. Yeah, Chris, thanks for that. I'm just pasting it in up here. So Chris has basically sent me this to try. So let's have a look. So it's basically normalizing the F# project options so that if mapping the source files to get the full path, yeah, okay, so well, stuff those on here as well. I'll leave this not in just because we've been mob coding, I suppose you call it. I don't know if anybody else on the stream is also a streamer too. Do you fancy doing any more streaming, Chris? I know you fancy doing it at some point. So F# project options. Kind of long-winded, but try this again. Of course, I haven't sent those. Let's see about normalizing these project options. And then that's a success. Let's look at the same error about the module namespace thing, which is bollocks because there's no such error. Still empty parameter list, empty list parameter 1. So this would change the file endings of the files. So we've got program.fs, got the project file name, debug protocol, no framework, trace, debug, define, init core app. Got all our references, all the -rs, tons and tons. Reference projects is incomplete text area is false. Use script resolution rules false. Load time 5:38. So current source text, where is that used? In there. So I get the project options again. Should be normalized. Print those guys out. See, the load time is still 5:38. So I'm kind of stuck again. I mean, we are getting type check results. Because if I do this, you get the results back. So there is symbol information. And as far as symbol information for what line were we going for? Line 19. 19 is now something completely different. But if we go through these, I mean, there is a constructor on line 19, and the checker is still on 19 according to this. This just looks like it's out of date. I mean, I've just got all usages of it. So Chris says, try moving the fscode cache in your object folder. Now, why would that cache have an effect on using the checker here? So Chris says I'd also restart FSI. Yeah, but I just couldn't be bothered. I just want to see if the file time had changed or anything had changed. Yeah, the load time's changed to 6:45. 1 minute ago. Let's clear that console and I'll just reevaluate this. Project options, 6:46. That's more up-to-date time. Check file answer. Do we have an error? Yeah, it's still the same old error. Just rerun this, see what happens. Same internal error. I mean, this gives us all the symbols in the file. So technically we should be able to pick one of these out. I mean, currently we're using 1944, which would be kind of out of bounds, which is fair enough, but if we pick something on line 24, project name 24 column 8. And then we run this part again. I don't know. That error's really annoying me. So I'm just running it as a normal task, which outputs the result onto the console. Just to double check my sanity. Have we changed the text to the contents of line 24? Probably not. I don't think it's having that much effect on anything. Is that the right terminator? I can't remember the terminator for this thing. Hey, I'll just rerun this. It'll save us messing about with FSI too much. Sorry for the slurping of the tea. Same old error. Internal error, empty list, parameter 1. I would just love it if I could get a different error from the tooltip response. Oh, hang on. That's actually worked. It wanted something in the island information. So this parameter here. So if we go back to FSI and rerun this. Yeah, Chris says use project name as a parameter. Sometimes I don't think it actually makes that any difference what parameter name you give it. It gives it an extra hint at how to contextually filter the results, but for most results it doesn't really matter. So now, when we run this, we're getting back type attribute. Type attribute, so where's it? This is supposed to be line 24. I mean, that's not line 24. And if it's a line above, type attribute. So what actual tooltip is it brought back? Add system attribute. See, I don't get what tooltip that it's actually brought back. So line 24, project name. Yeah, it would be crazy if you missed out the project name and it just, why would it produce attribute? I mean, attribute is, that's the closest attribute we've got. I'll stick one in. I mean, we're only hacking here, so. Oops, what the hell is that? It's still attribute. Yeah, I'll run this for sanity. The compiler tooling and tooling in general is a complete pain in the ass. You can often spend your time staring at things. You think, oh, why am I getting these results back? And it's it can be insane sometimes. So it looks like we've got, what did we get back in that? Some mesh at tooltip text. Yes, I don't think this will make any difference. Yeah, there's no friendly information to print that. But why, if I'm doing percentage A, how is that different to what FSI gets? Anyway, because FSI isn't using print, it's using reflection. So anyway, I'm getting a system attribute back from that tooltip, which doesn't make any sense to me. try column 9. What will that give me? Project name. So I was off by 1 column, yet being off by 1 column from project name would give me back attribute. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't make any sense to me. How is that type attribute? I could do with some sort of clicky button to make fireworks appear on the stream for these kind of celebrations where they actually start working. I mean, this is probably an example of how the column's off by 1 in the compiler. So Chris says it works, don't question it. Yeah, but this is kind of some of the reasons why you kind of get weird bugs in tooling, because like if I hovered at this point and I got system attribute, I'd be really confused. I'd be like, where's the system attribute? And in the fact that when we're hovering here in Ionide, I'm not getting an attribute, so where on earth is it getting that from? Well, maybe we would, because the keyword tooltips come back differently from symbolic tooltips from the compiler. So that's just displaying static text for the keywords. But what if we change this to 7? Intrigued why this is how it is. So what? That's different again. Some tool. So Chris says, I think column 8 is for the space between let and project name. So the space is an attribute now, but then the keyword behind the space is actually an empty tooltip text. That's obvious. So it's certainly interesting exploring some aspects of tooling. You can kind of get an idea what the maintainers of the tooling have to put up with, because you get all these kind of side issues, and it can take you 10 times longer to do something really simple than what you expect, really. Anyway, thanks for all the help with that, Chris. So what's next on this? We've kind of proved we can get something back from the compiler tooling. So what we want to try and start to do now is how we can wrap this up into some reusable function and start to integrate with the bot. I don't suppose anybody on the stream knows how to create a Twitch bot, because I have no idea. What we could do is start into that side of the construction as well, so we can ask the Twitch bot a question and then get it to submit that question to some future service that we'll build, which will use this kind of infrastructure. So Chris says Twitch bots are just IRC, done it before. Okay, well, I haven't. So what we're going to do is, I'm going to put this back to 9, column 9, and we will run this, and we will just commit this just so we know where we are. I'm sure there's a shortcut for git commit with Z shell, but I can't remember what it is. Okay, so we've got our first two commits. I don't actually have a repo for this, but I'm going to do that later. Okay, so thanks for tuning in, Chris. I'll see you another time, hopefully. Thanks for tuning in anyway. So, I think creating a Twitch bot. This is what we'll be doing next. So this is all JavaScript. So I need to stop saying so much. What we could do with doing is wrapping this completely in Fable. Chatbot's an IRC guide, okay, so it's going to be standard IRC bot. So, has anybody done this with Fable that might be on the stream, or know somebody that might have? Obviously, I don't have any morph tokens or anything like that yet. So I need to look at the chatbot guide to upload more chatbots for your channel. So the idea being that you want to develop a chatbot for my channel where you can ask the chatbot something and it will tell you something about the code on my screen. So you can say, chatbot, tell me about line 44, and it will return you the types of things on line 44. Or you could say, chatbot, what dependencies are here, or what dependencies we're using, and it can send you a list of the dependencies in the current project that's on the screen, or those kind of things. I thought that would be quite useful as a way of interacting with the stream, or rather than you guys asking me a question like, oh, but what's parse results? You could actually ask the chatbot and it would tell you. You could say the parse results is actually an F# parse results. F# parse file results, in fact. So it looks like they're using standard IRC for the bots. So I wonder if, are we stuck with using Fable to do this? Can we do it any other way? I mean, I've done bits and pieces of IRC, but that's probably 10 years ago, so all knowledge of it is kind of gone. So what we'd probably do is host the bot on my machine for now. Building the bot. Okay, so bot name. The token to authenticate your chat. Generate this with Twitch teammate, Twitch group while logged in. So I think I need to generate an account for my bot. Probably like to do that offline rather than messing about while I'm on the stream doing that. Run the chatbot on Glitch. Glitch lets you instantly create, edit, and host an app in the cloud. Now that the bot is running, even give me access to here. I guess this isn't working. The coach for this tutorial is live and can be accessed here. Simply put your credentials in the environmental variables above in the em file. Okay. It's probably something I want to do offline because I need to create the credentials for the bot. Would be interesting to do this in Fable. So I think probably I need to create an account for Twitch for my chatbot, then generate the OAuth token. Let me try and do this off screen because I want to kind of keep this secure. Well, so I'll just be looking at this screen while I try and create this a new Twitch client. Bear with me while I try to do this. So I'll do sign up and then we'll create chatbot. Right, so I've created one called chatbot. Let's need to grab this to get a token. So I've just verified the address for the chatbot. So now we're logged in as my chatbot, and I need to create an OAuth token. Right, so I've done that, and now we need to... I'll try and do this all in glitch, but I'm going to have to leave it off screen because obviously I don't want the OAuth token to be displayed on the screen. So I'm going to have to figure out a way of doing this so it works better with the stream. So I'll move this over. So bot using it. And just adding in the environment variables now. chatbot. And the channel name is my channel, which I've 7.9 dev. And then view the code in bot.js. And then how do we get to sign in? Let me have a look. View the readme again. So building the bot, do this. We add the free environmental variables. I can't show you that because of the OAuth token, which you want to keep secret. Start as a template. Click the readme. Glitch automatically installs Node and TMI. View the code. Glitch automatically deploys and runs each version. View the status button to show there are no errors. Try the chatbot in your channel with Twitch TV/channel by trying to updates. Let's try that. I'm just trying to log in with my tablet. I have to put a code in. So let's put my code in. Not on the screen. Right, I'm logged in on my tablet now. I don't think I've installed this yet. Let's have a look at the screen. So your chatbot is ready to run. Glitch automatically deploys. Add the free environmental variables. I've done that. So F# chatbot, I'll put the auth token in, put the channel name in, and I'm getting authentication field. Well, that didn't go very well. So I talk with not being able to show this file because of the OAuth token, but I'm getting, when I type dice into the chat client, I am getting a response with unknown command dice. I think it has to be D20 rather than. Try D20. There we go. So if I bring this on the screen, remember not to click on the environment box. This is the very simplest integration. So what we'd probably want to do is work on replicating this, but using something like Fable, or that probably would be quite nice because it would. I'm not sure if anyone's done this. Someone probably already has, but it's this is the next step in this project, is to get a rough stub of the actual chatbot, so that when you, like, if you, rather than saying D20, if I change this to and this is roll dice, so roll dice. What's online? So kind of what's on line 20? This probably won't work because it's not, obviously not a command that it understands it. It's like really simple. Now I've put a 1. Dummy. Yeah, so what we kind of want is an API kind of like that, but apart from returning the results of a D20, you actually get some results back that are pertinent to something to do with line 20. So we could probably create a simple DSL for the chatbot to say, I don't know, type 31 or something like that. It'd be nice if it was grammatical, so it was, you could just say, can you tell me the type on line 34, column 4, or can you tell me the type of command name? That would be kind of cool, because then you could do the actual compiler check and infrastructure. You could rip out all the symbols from the compiler, from this file, and then you could search it for a particular symbol name, like command name, or whatever you wanted to use. So the thing that's fiddly is working out, and this has got a TMIDS reference, so we could probably wrap this in Fable fairly easily. We've got 2 event handlers. We could probably wrap those event handlers with a kind of like an Elmish architecture. And so a message handler. So if we wound this up into an Elm architecture type loop, it would be quite cool, because we'd have 2 messages in our DSL. We'd have a non-message one and a non-connection one. So the console is outputted every time there's a connection, and that's about it. I don't know why, but I kind of expected the chatbot to be one of the users in chat. Obviously, the chatbot is just a way of being able to communicate with the bot via chat, rather than an actual physical bot user in the chat. So with that in mind, I'm going to wrap up the stream now, and we will work on fableizing this in the next episode, which should be fairly soon. And I want to thank everyone for tuning into the stream, and hopefully I will see you in another stream soon. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.